Dex strode onto the mezzanine, the Navy jacket's nano-weave adjusting seamlessly to the lounge atmospheric controls, cool where the crowd's body heat pooled thickest. Across the room, Linda emerged from a service corridor, her bronze-threaded shawl catching the low light like liquid metal. Their eyes locked, and something unspoken passed between them, half recognition, half relief. She moved toward him with effortless precision, one hand coming to rest on his shoulder as she took possession of the space. Her cheek brushed his, warm, faintly scented with sandalwood, and a jasmine tone, then withdrew just as gracefully. Dex's hand found the small of her back almost instinctively, their bodies aligning with the ease of old partners reuniting. Just the quiet certainty that this, here, was exactly where they both needed to be. Evening. Exotic, he said, intrigued. I have a gift and a request, handing her the aster. Mel's dim violet pulse flickered at the edge of his vision. A silent observer merged with the AC ducting.
Charmer, she murmured, inquisitively raising one eyebrow as she turned the aster bloom between her fingers, its bioluminescent veins pulsing gently against her skin. It's rare and very pretty. Thank you. Her gaze flickered upward with sudden knowing amusement, lips curving as she leaned closer, sandalwood warmth enveloping him. Now let me guess. You have glowy in tow somewhere here? A deliberate pause, her thumb brushing the nanoweave sleeve where Mel's violet pulse had reflected moments prior. Still allergic to letting her out of your sight, Captain? The steward came by, she ordered drinks.
Dex took that one on the chin. Linda's teasing rarely missed its mark. He chuckled, thumb tracing the rim of his glass before meeting her gaze head-on. Yes, she requested observer status, he admitted, voice low enough that only Linda would catch the fondness threading through it. She agrees not to interact in any way. Your call. Figured you'd clock her the second I walked in anyway. She's learning, well, compiling a new sentient framework.
Linda's fingers stilled around the aster bloom, her gaze sharpening with unexpected recognition. Bit unusual, she admitted, tilting her head toward the ceiling pipes where Mel's violet pulse lingered. But you have that neural link too. I knew that was part of you, so it's acceptable. A wry smile tugged at her lips as she tapped Dex's temple lightly. You installed that expansion chip to complete her sentient framework, didn't you? Clever. I understand data acquisition. Her voice dropped, amused yet strangely earnest. Never thought I'd be the calibration subject though. I also have a confession of sorts. May as well clear the air here. It's ended now, but Audrey and I had an affair. It didn't end well. We wanted different things. Tugster got involved and it turned nasty when he endorsed the rumors. That Plaz torch story was a prank turned bad. Have you had much to do with Audrey?
Dex's grip on the glass loosened as Linda's confession settled between them. Audrey's name alone was enough to make his jaw clench. No, not exactly, he admitted. Voice, purposeful, even. I don't haul cargo, and avoid politics like a hull breach. The subtext hung between them. Unlike you, though, for me it's a stretch. He took a slow sip, letting the burn of cheap synth whiskey ground him. Knew they were half-siblings. Figured it was a Naxian bloodline drama. His thumb traced the condensation on the glass, stalling. But Tugster weaponizing rumors? Classic. Dude's got the emotional range of a faulty airlock. And you got caught in the crossfire. It wasn't a question. Odd thing, she has provided critical assistance on several occasions. Was my cocktail offer accepted?
Mel scanned the mezzanine, analyzing vectors, crowd demography, crony threats. 6 in total, strategically placed observational for now. Sampling audio subnet chatter. The captain's biometrics elevated in all the expected profiles, Linda's markers reciprocating, odd flare when mentioning Audrey. Tension. It was a data avalanche. She compiled fast enough to make predictive comparisons, refining those to 85.3% accuracy, didn't see or feel the guild presidency bid. Humans had complex motivations. Linda wanted trade route concessions. Watch and learn, she smoothed. Catch or stop neural bleed out.
Perceptive, but this time you will have to play. Audrey says Tugster's next move is imminent. She will try to mitigate, but fears his reach. Cocktails. Oh yes. Perfect. She has an agenda she needs to detail in person. Wants your cooperation on several issues, primarily the Merchant Navy political power battle, and the pros. She cut herself off abruptly. No. And there is a personal matter. A complex smile crept onto her face. Shall we try the new taco stand? I think we have exhausted lounge theater mode.
Dex nods slowly. Source caution. Acceptance. The motion carrying more weight than agreement. He was being swept up in the station's politics. Always trouble. He moved to help with her shawl. She made sure to brush in close to his chest. The lounge noticed. The locals didn't. Obvious. They browsed the menu. She liked the shrimp. He said make two, swiping the credits. Thank you, Captain, she breathed, swaying in, taking his lips. He responded carefully, extending the kiss just long enough to have real meaning, without being performative. This was a public collaboration, dressed in desire. He was willingly invested.
The order arrived. Crisp-shelled and fragrant. As Linda nudged her knee against Dex's under the table, her voice dropping to that conspiratorial purr he enjoyed. Dex, she said, you know we're in election season, yeah? I have to declare another interest. Well, I have nominated for the Trade Guild presidency. I may win on merit alone, but optics are crucial. Then with mild embarrassment, admitted, softly, your standing in the Freighter Guild provides referred endorsement, implied by being seen together. She saw his brow furrow. Hadn't seen this coming. You don't actually have to do anything, but you need to be aware of the dynamic. He held her gaze long and steady, then gradually smoothed to a "I've been played" grin, then relaxed and the smile crinkled his eyes. That was close, she mused. It was a benign liberty. This man is exceptional, she thought.
Dex's chuckle was low and rich as he dabbed at the sauce with deliberate care, the nanowave repelling it effortlessly. Complex and spicy, he mused, waving a hand toward the tacos with theatrical flair before returning her gaze. His grin softened into something more private, part amusement, part challenge. All right, Guild President-elect. Any other surprises tucked behind that shawl? Or do I get to enjoy my meal before the next political landmine detonates? He took a deliberate bite, savoring the shrimp's crisp heat, watching her over the rim of his glass. The unspoken question hung between them. How deep does this alliance go?
Yeah, she said with a cool stare, finishing her aperitif with deliberate slowness. The stemware clicked against the table as she stood, smoothing her shawl with one hand while the other beckoned Dex upward. I have something for you. Let's take the Crystal Bloom tour. He offered his arm instinctively. She tucked in close, her height bringing their eyes level as that engaged smile resurfaced, slow and knowing. The promenade deck unfurled before them, a riot of bioluminescent petals and engineered fragrances designed to overwhelm the senses. Linda steered them toward a secluded alcove where the Bloom's hum softened to a murmur. Her fingers dipped into her purse, emerging with a data crystal. Updated logs, timeline, action agenda, she murmured, pressing it into his palm. Audrey and I are coordinated in this. I want to trust you. She held him with a searching gaze.
Dex's fingers curled around the data crystal, its edges pressing cold against his palm for just a moment before he tucked it away, replacing it with the Seraph's decrypted logs. For the cause, he breathed, watching Linda's eyes widen as the implications registered. Then her arms were rising, fingers threading through his hair, pulling him into a kiss that tasted like spiced citrus and recklessness. His hands found the curve of her hips, anchoring her flush against him as the alcove's blooms pulsed around them in time with his stuttering heartbeat. A promise, yes, but also a challenge, sealed in the way her teeth grazed his lower lip just before she pulled back, breath uneven. Dex grinned, thumb brushing the smear of her lip pigment along his jaw. Comprehensive data exchange, he deadpanned. The Seraph log crystal had vanished, humming faintly. Your move, Madam President. Dex cautioned himself. Settle, Tiger, this one can inhale you in one stroke.
Well, Captain, Linda murmured, her fingers tracing idle patterns on Dex's sleeve. The alcove's bioluminescence cast her face in shifting blues and violets. That was delicious. Her lips curved into a broad smile that reflected directly in her eyes, calculating, testing, implied everything, avoiding nothing. In that moment she cast her lot, committed. Perhaps you'd prefer dessert aboard my trader? The Horizons, which has a private observation deck with an exceptional view of the nebula. The invitation hung between them, weighted with unspoken agenda, part political maneuver, part genuine curiosity about the man who'd just handed her classified seraph logs without hesitation.
Dex drew a deeper breath, noting the scent of jasmine from the blooms mingling with Linda's sandalwood perfume. His fingers lingered at the small of her back where her suit met the bronze-threaded shawl. Warmth bleeding through the fabric. Very tempting, he whispered, searching her eyes. Thumb tracing the subtle ridge of her spinal implants through the silk. You have me at a disadvantage, though. The corner of his mouth twitched as he caught the violet pulse of Mel's optic from a nearby service conduit. I need to be on the same page with your program. He emphasized the word just enough to make it clear he meant both her political agenda, and whatever Audrey's intentions were, figure out where I stand in all this. Stepping back just far enough to break contact, he extended his arm with old-world formality. Happy to walk back with you.
Linda's fingers tightened imperceptibly around Dex's arm as the realization crystallized. This was why she kept circling back to him. The man didn't bend. Her lips parted slightly, tasting the station's recycled air before exhaling a laugh that carried genuine amusement. Next time then, she conceded, matching his formal posture as they stepped back onto the promenade, the neon of distant signage catching in her pupils like starlight. But Captain, do stand somewhere visible. The T's lingered between them, edged with something sharper, an acknowledgement that his refusal had, paradoxically, secured her interest far more than acquiescence ever could.